Hi, I'm Chris Herbert. We are standing at the entrance of the Berlin exhibition in collaboration with Coil Winding and APC Media. We have several interviews with leading players in the transformer industry. Come and join me and see what we are up to. Martina, good afternoon. Welcome to the Coil Winding exhibition in Berlin and the APC Media platform. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Could you take us through your company history? Tell us a little bit of the product you're showcasing.
Well, Mobitron is a Swedish company. We are the manufacturer of impact recorders, and we have been around for over 30 years, and we gather knowledge for all this time, making the development of our products. We are the producer of the impact recorder, which will monitor transport, the cargo during the supply chain, and what is happening to the cargo while it's in transport.
Very, very important, particularly given the dynamics and the risk associated with transport. Tell us a little bit more about your Mobitron third generation product, what it is, what it can do.
Well, the third generation is the latest innovation. It will capture everything that is happening to your cargo during transport. And with the online functionality, it will also transfer the information directly to you, to your office. So you can see instantly what is happening, and you can get instantly reports of if there is a potential damage to make sure that the cargo arrives on time in perfect condition.
Why is real-time monitoring so important? You reflected on this very briefly, but why is it so important?
Well, the online functionality makes sure that you have a product that will reduce the labor costs. It will make sure that you don't have the need to go out to the impact recorder to manually read the data. You can actually get it to your office to make sure that both you, your end customer, or anyone else that are involved in the project to have the same information to get data when you're needing it of it.
How important is IoT and cloud compatibility and integration in terms of the transport and the features and capabilities of your product?
Well, we can see that more and more companies today want to use online monitoring. They want the information directly to them because this is something that we expect today. We expect that we have the information when we need it, and that will help companies in so many ways.
Coming to risk and risk prevention, because this is a big issue in the transformer transport industry, particularly for transformer manufacturers. How do you monitor the risk and how do you mitigate it through the use of your product?
We are a third-party company. We don't mix with the information. The information is the knowledge, and what you get is the knowledge of what is happening to your product in transport. And that is really important for companies today because we don't have the time to repair for any costly delays. We need to make sure that everything is happening, and it's happening right now. We want to make sure that the companies know what is happening.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face, and how does your product bring solutions to this?
The biggest challenges today is that we don't really know what will happen because there are so many things that could happen during the transport. We don't know what the weather conditions will be, if there will be crane lifting errors. Everything that could potentially damage your product is a risk. And we want to make sure that you know of those risks and that you have the data for if something could have potentially damaged your cargo. You want to know that, and you want to know that before your end customer. You want to prepare for something that could potentially delay your project, and that is a risk for many companies today.
Very true. In terms of predictive maintenance and operations, how does your product contribute and assist?
Today, data is the knowledge. you want to make sure that you have the knowledge of what is happening to your products. And if there is a potential damage, there is also a potential risk for operational failure. And we want to make sure that you know of those risks and what would potentially happen if you don't know. Well, you could risk costly delays, your reputation, because today we need to make sure that things happen on time.
Yes.
And that is what we expect.
Right. In terms of operational efficiency, any thoughts on that? Does it help? Does it support?
Well, if you don't know what had happened during the transport, it doesn't matter if you start measuring the transformer once it's in operation, because if something would have potentially damaged during the handling already in the manufacturer or during the transport, that is also a risk, and it can potentially later on be a guarantee case, which is actually an insurance case in that case if something would have happened during the transport.
In this industry of today, sustainability is a big issue. How does your product contribute and impact on sustainability, and particularly the goals associated with sustainability?
Well, sustainability is a big question, and I think it's just as big as digitalization. And the Cargolog 3rd Gen today will make sure that you have the data for what is happening. And if there is a potential error or a potential operational failure, you want to know that instantly. You don't want to wait, because if something could have potentially been damaged during your transport, that is also a risk. And it will not only be a costly delay, but it will also be risking the environmental. You know how maybe in worst case you need to send the transformer back or other cargo. There are so many risks in transports, and you don't want to risk having any transportations back and forth, because that is not what we are going to do for saving the environment.
In terms of workload, workmanship dependency, your product reduces it. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, of course, labor today is a big question. We don't have the time, and we don't have enough people for what the industry is facing. So we need to make sure that we spend the time on what really matters. And if our product can help that by sending data directly to your office or to your end customers, that will be something that can actually help your company.
You've mentioned a very important point, decision-making and assisting in decision-making. You must have had some interesting case studies and interesting events. Would you like to share some of these with us, and particularly effect on where your product has been groundbreaking and assisting in solving some of the issues?
Well, I think today we have seen an increase in the online transport monitoring. We have seen how so many companies today want to start using the online version because they can save money by that. They know that if they can use that, and they don't have to go out directly to the transformer, they can actually get the data directly. And we have seen how companies today start using this type of product, and by measuring the acceleration, the temperature, humidity, and even air pressure. I think that is also something that will come more and more, because by using our product, you can actually monitor everything at the same time.
In terms of incidents, because normally when there is an impact and there is an incident, the insurance is involved. How is your solution an important factor in incident reporting, and in terms of the insurance, an instrument that can be used to the advantage of both parties involved?
By using the impact recorder and the software that comes with it, we can see how easy it shall be to export the report. Because if there is a potential damage, you should be able to export the report directly. Easy, you don't want to spend any time on that. And also for the insurance company to receive that report and to actually see what has happened, at what point it happened, where it happened, then you can see actually who is responsible for this. and who should also be responsible for redamaling the product.
And then a very last question. How does it work? I mean, how do you, if I'm a transformer company and I buy the equipment, what are the steps? Can you take us through that?
Today, when we sell our product, companies normally order directly from us or from one of our distributors. They receive the product. They can receive it either pre-programmed, which means that they can actually use the product instantly when they receive it. And just by pressing the button, they can start it. Or if they want to, they can pre-program it themselves before the transport, and to make sure that they have the correct settings and start off the project. Once the project has started, it will be mounted directly to the cargo, and it can be a transformer, switchgear, generator, anything that is large and sensitive that you want to monitor. And by that, you will get the information directly by GSM communication. So you will then see what is happening to my product in the supply chain, how it's been handled, and by that you can start analyzing the data. And if something would actually happen and there is exceeding the thresholds, you can get an instant alert directly to your email to see exactly what has happened, when did it happen, and where did it happen.
Martina, thank you very much on behalf of APC. Thank you very much. And then perhaps just a question in terms of coil winding. What are your impressions of the exhibition? Please share your thoughts.
Well, actually, we've been participating for a couple of years, and it's always interesting to go here. You can see so many people and network and meet both the friends and new people here. So it's great.
Excellent. Thank you very much.